cookie jar update, guys. So I actually ended up meeting one of my goals today. So as you can see, I ate half a cookie. Now I'm very tempted to eat this other half, but considering I don't want to become the same size as the same shape as this cookie, I will stop for now. Hi everyone, welcome to Naren's FMS. This is Naren and it's time for Friday Findings. And today's Friday Findings, I'm very excited for the two research papers I have today, or at least the two articles I have today, because they actually show research that also somewhat affect me to some extent. One for sure. The other one I also experienced to a very high extent, and I'll let you be the judge of that. But the one thing I do want to share is that the links of these articles will, of course, be shared in the description section of the video, so you can definitely check them out. And along with all of that, do also find ways to maybe if you find that these things may actually help you, you can even try to see if there are certain solutions that you can find if you actually do have any of these problems that are discussed in this video. So with all of that said, let's start with article number 1. So in article number 1, we are actually going to discuss the impact of myelin damage on sleep. Now, the study that was conducted for this one actually shows that scientists, when they actually conducted a study on mice which had, Alzheimer's disease for that matter, saw that because of the myelin damage, the mice in the study actually showcased, um, disturbed sleep patterns. And while MS is also a disease which does experience this, a certain level of myelin damage that also happens with Alzheimer's disease, the one thing that became pretty clear was that in a similar fashion, people who actually do have multiple sclerosis also suffer from pretty bad bouts of sleep. And as a result, and scientists have pretty much found or located that this could be as a result of the myelin damage done because of diseases like MS or Alzheimer's disease. Now, another thing I do want to say is that this was actually conducted through an EEG study done on these mice, where it actually showed that the mice in question actually had very disturbed sleep cycles, and the main cause of this disturbed sleep was the fact that the myelin was actually damaged. Now, with of course all of that said, considering that this study was done on mice, there does need to be further studies done to see if humans show a similar sort of disturbance in their sleep as a result of the myelin damage. But speaking from personal experience, I definitely do have uh, you know I would definitely say that my sleep is not on the healthy side. I generally do tend to sleep a lot less than I should, and while I try to make sure that I spend a lot of my weekend on the bed right here, usually that does not end up being the case, because my sleep does end up getting disturbed very often. So if you do suffer from something similar, you can definitely share your insights, your experiences, and definitely something that you do to actually improve your sleep, so that uh, you can at least try to get some level of better sleep, despite people with despite the fact that you know actually having um, myelin damage can result in reduced sleep. So, of course, I hope you found that very helpful. But of course, you can get more information from this article linked in the description section, and you can come to your own conclusion. But more so than that, if you actually do have a certain solution that works for you, maybe please share that so that we can get the conversation started, and I can maybe learn a few tricks about how to get better sleep myself. So, with that said, that was article 1, and now we move on to article number 2. So, on to article number 2. Now, this article is also very interesting because it actually is a little bit of continuation to something that we have talked about previously, maybe even last week, which is, of course, considering the gut health bacteria. Now, what is happening over here? So, uh, over here, scientists actually conducted a very small study, and the one thing that you will definitely get out of reading this article is that the study was in fact very small. But the one thing they noticed was that on consumption of propanoic acid, which is a certain supplement that people can take to help break down fiber in the gut, can actually reduce um, a certain biomarker which actually showcases which actually shows or displays or reflects nerve damage. This, of course, the biomarker in question is called NFL, or neurofilament light chain. And the way this actually does end up happening is because consumption of propanoic acid, at least in the patients that were studied in this small study, actually showed that they showed a less concentration of the NFL biomarker, and as a result of that, they actually had slightly better outcomes. They were actually a little better off as a result of reducing that biomarker. Now, of course, considering that this is a small study, um, there of course need to be a lot more studies taken in place, and considering it falls again under the much larger umbrella of again gut bacteria and its impact on MS. This is also another thing that you could definitely see if it works out for you. Right now, generally, I will definitely not be someone who will actively recommend that you take certain supplements or certain things that do alter certain things in your body without you getting medical you getting some you actually reaching out to your own doctor or neurologist or MS specialist for it. But if you already do take propanoic acid as a result of improving your gut health, to better break down fiber in your stomach, do share any insights, any thoughts, or any experiences if you have actually seen an improvement in your health as a result of this. But of course, with all of that said, you can definitely check out the article in full form in the description section, and do share your thoughts, your insights, and of course, like I said, your experiences, so that we can get a conversation started. And definitely learn a little bit more about how propanoic acid might actually help us if it does end up being something of an add-on, um, as an add-on treatment for MS. So of course, with that said, that was article number 2. I hope you found both of these articles pretty interesting. I definitely did. And knowing that both of these articles show some great promise, um, I'm very excited for if research progresses these um, on these articles, or at least on the findings of these articles, and that some positive does come out of it, right? Considering that both of these articles are something that I also experience as a result of MS. I am pretty happy in knowing that these are also two things that are being discussed. These are two symptoms that are also being um, that are also being investigated to see if there are certain improvements as a result of the research that was conducted. But of course, with all of that said, please do share your own thoughts, your own insights, so that we can actually have a nice conversation on it. But of course, with all of that said, this is Nareen Sai with MS. I am Nareen, and one of the greatest things is it is Friday, which means that the weekend is, well, technically it is past 12, so it is right now the weekend. But I do hope you have some great things planned for this weekend. Of course, with all of that said, and as a final note to you, here is me wishing you a good night, sweet dreams, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.